I was fortunate enough to receive a code to play Elden Ring Nightreign early. And now that the playtest has ended, I can confidently say that this game is kind of weird. Let me start by saying I did enjoy the experience. First day was an utter mess as I couldn't even get into the game. From what I saw online, the PS5 servers were overloaded, causing many players to queue in and immediately get booted out. But hey, for once, Xbox on top, I guess. But the second playtest was cool. My original plan was to hop into a session with my homeboy Quan and see how far we could get into the day cycles. What's the day cycles, you just asked? I'm getting there. Anyways, the second session had multiplayer disabled, so me and Quan tried to queue in at the same time and just like get into each other's game. It didn't work at all. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, are you in?
No. Like you in the game?
Do you see niggas walking?
I just picked my character. Did you pick your character?
I did just pick my character, but we might be at different times. You never know.
You can't see who you playing with, bro?
No.
What the fuck?
It wasn't until the 5th and final playtest that me and Quan were able to hop into a lobby together and simultaneously jump the shit out of any NPC that stepped in our path. I've been so excited to show you our session. So with that being said, how far can 2 Elden Ring pros get in Nightreign? Once the day starts, 3 players are dropped into what seems like 2 different locations. I'm not sure if there's more, but every time I played, I was either dropped right outside a camp full of homeless niggas or in front of a castle with slightly less homeless people. From there, we were lost. We both went into this playtest completely blind, so we weren't really aware of the mechanics at all. For y'all's sake though, let me give a little rundown. Basically, it's a roguelike game where you can pick from 8 pre-made characters, each with different abilities and stats, including Wilder, Guardian, Duchess, and Recluse. Each of these characters come with their own unique skills, traits, and ultimate abilities. I lightly experimented with all of these characters. Mainly, I use Guardian though, so let's start there. Guardian is a bird man who starts the game with a big ass shield and a spear. With these items in hand, he's supposed to specialize in defense and strength, but one thing I learned about Nightreign is that you don't have to stick with your character's original build. You can pick up any weapon as long as you're at the right level. Anyways, Guardian has a skill called Whirlwind, and it felt useless. This move seems to create a whirlwind and is supposed to blow enemies into the air, I think. I'm not sure. Personally, it just felt like it tickled him with a gust of wind. But his ultimate move is called Wings of Salvation, where he flies into the air and does a big ass dive back to the ground. I fuck with this move, and it might be my favorite ultimate in the game outside of Wilder's. Speaking of Wilder, he's your standard Souls Pro tag, a knight with well-balanced stats. He starts with a basic sword and a little ass shield. He has a grappling hook for his first skill, which can pull enemies close to you or pull you anywhere in your environment. I'm not sure how I feel about this skill, honestly. I didn't use Wilder that much, but every time I used the grappling hook in a traversal way, it felt like it didn't go anywhere. But hey, maybe that's just me. I don't know. His ultimate, that's another story. Onslaught Strike. It's basically a big ass kamikaze. He charges up a bomb and boy does that motherfucker blow. Honestly, it felt like every single time I used the skill, it was damn near an instant stagger. As for the next character, Duchess, she's like an assassin type character. She starts off with a little dagger and a skilled in evasion. Her ability Restage basically calls forth a summon of whatever enemy you're fighting. Her ultimate skill, Finale, turns you and your invisibles. Nigga, what? Her ultimate skill, Finale, turns you and your allies invisible. I enjoy playing Duchess. She's pretty fun. It's just she really wasn't my speed as a character, but I will admit her skills are pretty fucking good. Lastly, we have Recluse, and boy, I need I'm so sorry. Recluse is very clearly a mage character that's skilled in magic, obviously. Her skill, Magic Cocktail, collects affinity residues of targets, and once she gets like 3 different affinities, she fires off a magic bomb, or like an orb. Kinda. Now, affinities, for those who don't know, because I'm not gonna lie, I looked that shit up. It's like bleed, death blight, poison, things like that. Her magic cocktail skill also allows her to regain FP, which is really fucking good considering that's her main form of damage. And there's no mana flask to my knowledge. Lastly, her ultimate skill, Soul Blood Songe, puts blood sigils on close enemies, which afflicts the enemies with bleed. And let me say, whoever designed Recluse, give that man a raise. I would like to reiterate that everything I just explained, I didn't know in the test. Now that we have all the characters out the way, let's talk about the mechanics. As soon as you spawn in, you're in the round table hold, where you can queue into a match by selecting which boss you want to fight. I'm assuming each boss will come with a different stage layout, but for this test, we were only able to fight one boss, Tricephalos. After selecting the boss you'd like to fight, you're dropped into a map with like 10 to 15 minutes to level yourself up. And let me say, these games feel long as hell. You level yourself up, upgrade weapons, and basically get beefy. Additionally, there's a storm-like system that slowly narrows you in throughout the day. At the end of each day, there's a mini-boss that you had to beat. Some of the mini-bosses I encountered were bosses that I didn't recognize, excluding you, Mari. I'm not sure if they're new additions to this game specifically or if they're from previous FromSoft titles, but these bosses usually aren't too hard. At the end of the final day, I'm pretty sure you fight the big bad boss, and I'm saying pretty sure for a reason. You'll understand why. So yeah, that's pretty much the game. So back to my gameplay. We started by whipping on homeless men, and from there I ran into a horde. Now I'm not entirely sure what hordes are, but I'll give you a quick rundown of what I noticed. Once I walked into the area, a black shadow spawned over me, immediately spawning a group of mobs. In this case, ants and mosquitoes. After beating this simulation of Australia, we gained power. This specific horde dropped Favor of the Night, which improves the charging rate of the ultimate gauge. This is the only horde I encountered whilst playing, so I'm not sure if there's more, but y'all let me know. After that, we continue leveling up, only to be faced with the hardest boss of them all, the network connection. The nigga Quan disconnected at least 7 times throughout our maybe 2 to 3 hours of gameplay. Anyways, we queued up into another game. This time, I'm Duchess. We encountered a flame chariot boss and whooped them niggas, boy. Well, my teammate did. I was getting blown up. We got back into the same spot we were in before Quan disconnected in the last game and fought some Royal Knight niggas. I don't fucking know. And let me say, the combat of this game may look like Elden Ring, but it's definitely not. This game feels like if Elden Ring wasn't Elden Ring. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but if you think about it, it does. I'm not sure if it's because I was recording or what, but my dodge just felt a little off, and my attacks felt like they lingered a little longer than Elden Ring. That's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just something I noticed. After beating the knights, I equipped a cooler oh my nigga, is that a dragon? Dragons in this game are fucking bonkers, bro. Like, it's not because they're insanely hard or anything, it's strictly because they despawn a lot. Our team all ran to fight this dragon and immediately realized that he's in the storm. We ain't give a fuck. We tried to bait him out, but so we have no choice but to fight him in the storm. You said we could just moved on? Bitch, shut the fuck up. This boss fight made me realize I fucked up picking up the axe, because it felt more like I was hitting him with a fucking squeaky toy. Anyways, we did conquer the dragon, but at a cost. Our whole team damn near died in the storm.
About to die. I'm about to die. Please help me. Please. Bro, you about homie dead. Oh, I got him. You go.
Oh shit.
My flask not flasking.
Get him.
This is not how we go out. This is not how we go
nigga.
out. It's not how we go
out. But we survived. Hey. We gathered our shit, leveled up, and prepared for the boss that awaited us. I noticed before a boss spawns at the final circle, there's a small group of enemies we have to beat first. But anyways, a centipede demon descended from the clouds and got fodderized. At this point, it was really hitting me that I needed to get a better weapon. And then I got sidetracked because I saw a hippo. Me and Quan figured that the best way to get loot is to kill bosses. So we ran into a cave hoping to find some big shit, and we didn't. We continued our way through the lands between and ran into a dog boss, which immediately caused PTSD for Quan because he thought it was Malekith, the boss that made him quit the game.
You gonna turn around? What? It's the nigga. It's Malekith.
We ran into an ancient dragon, and this was literally the exact same scenario from earlier. The storm's coming in. We fight a boss. No reason to be fighting this boss, by the way. But this time, I learned my lesson and kept it pushing. My teammates, on the other hand, once the night begun, we were encountered with the Fell Omen Margit. I was expecting for him to be a recycle boss, and honestly, a cakewalk, I ain't gonna lie. But he had new types of moves that I've never seen before.
Punch him in the back or something. Oh my!
And just like that, our run was over. Now remember, this is my second time playing this game. I died in a similar way in both of the runs that I had. Essentially, as soon as all 3 of your flasks are gone and teammates start dropping, it's like an uphill battle to actually survive. But that's how it should be. I'm not complaining at all. At this point, we have like 10 more minutes of playtime left. So I queue in as the bad bitch Recluse and get to work. Honestly, I wish I played Recluse a little bit more because I thoroughly enjoy her playstyle. We ran into a Royal Karian Knight and whooped his monkey. Then Quan got disconnected again. We probably had like 5 more minutes, so we quickly re-queued into another game and pretty much bullshitted until our time was up. This session was definitely a step above the previous one I experienced. I thoroughly enjoyed playing with Quan, which is the way it should be. This game is very clearly meant to be played with friends, and that's really what made all the difference for me. Without Quan, running around the map with randoms, fighting NPCs and bosses just didn't hit the same at all. But even without Quan, I still had fun, just to a smaller scale. In this session, I got queued up with teammates who clearly spent more time than me in the game. And we made it up to the second night where we died to 2 tree sentinels and a dragonic tree sentinel. Who the fuck made this? Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of time to spend in this network test. I wasn't expecting to get a code, so I simply wasn't prepared to drop, I don't know, 8 hours just playing the game. Because of this, I didn't get good enough to make it all the way to the final boss of the playthrough. But despite that, I spent a good amount of time playing. You know, I had a few takeaways that I'd like to share. Let's start with some things I enjoyed. Firstly, I love the ambition they have towards the game. There's a lot going on. From the multiplayer aspect to the overall roguelike feel of the game, it's a really fun concept. I love how the game still feels like Elden Ring without fully being Elden Ring, which gives it some more life. The movement in this game is nice. Like simple things like wall climb and super sprint make moving around the map super engaging. And in general, I'm just a big fan of how FromSoft is taking aspects from other genres in games and mixing it together with Elden Ring. Now onto a couple things I wasn't a fan of. I didn't really enjoy the recycle bosses. Even if there were slight changes to attack patterns and such, the recycle bosses from each Souls title makes the game feel a little more rushed and a little cash grabby, which isn't a good look. I would like to see if they implement voice chat, because not being able to talk to your co-op partners is a little iffy personally, and on top of that, the people like to separate, which is a problem considering this game is team-based. I do appreciate how the storm brings everybody back in, but that was a side note. But on the topic of teams, I'm not a fan at all of a 3-person team. You have to play in a 3-person team. You can solo queue, but you'll just be put into a team. You can duo queue, but be put into a team. It's I don't really know how I feel about it. Not really a big fan of it personally. It doesn't really affect the gameplay, but I just wish that you didn't have to queue into trios. Additionally, the combat in this game is a little interesting. It feels like most bosses don't really know who to hit and kind of target one person for a prolonged amount of time. I personally view this game as more of a DLC more than a full standalone title. When Elden Ring was announced, I instantly knew I was going to buy it. When Shadow of the Erdtree dropped, I had no doubts in my mind that I was gonna spend $40 on that motherfucker. But this, I'm not sure. Like, yeah, if I buy the game, I play it, but it feels like it'll be one of them games that get Minecrafted. What do I mean by that, you ask? Well, Minecraft was one of those games where I was balls deep into that bitch for like a week or two, but as soon as the euphoria died out, I didn't even look in the direction of the game for like another year. I feel like Nightreign might not be worth the $40 price at this moment, but I can see the vision. I can see what they're going for, and I'm hopeful, and I'm really all for it. I want to see this succeed, don't get me wrong. Nightreign has the potential to be perfect, and if the cards are played right, I promise you they will cook with this game.